So here's our last class, and we'll be talking about one of my favorite topics. We'll finish up on options. I want to spend a little time on option time value because I don't think I hit that very well. Do another example just like we did last class of gains and losses, and we'll do common option strategies. There's actually one strategy that I forgot to show you last class, which is the collar strategy. We did a covered call last class, but we didn't get to do a collar, so I want to do a collar. But we'll do the same ones we did last time plus the collar strategy. So here is options on the stock Zoom. Ticker is ZM. And we want to calculate time value. Remember, time value is the option premium minus its intrinsic value. Remember, the intrinsic value for calls is the max of the current stock price minus the strike on the option and 0. So if it's a negative number, its intrinsic value is just 0. So if you're out of the money, the intrinsic value is 0. For puts, it's the same thing except for you do strike minus the stock price. So let's try this. Here's some call options from May 21st, 2021 on Zoom. And let's go down and let's do a calculator. Let's do for 450. All right. So let's say the strike is 450. The premium, well, we'll do the ask premium. So 101.60. The premium is 101.60. And so we're interested in how much of that 101.60 is time value and how much is intrinsic value. So the intrinsic value, again, is going to equal the max of the stock price minus the strike and 0. So in this case, it's going to equal the max of, well, the current stock price, the S, is 471.61. So the intrinsic value is going to be 471.61 minus 450, comma 0. So that's going to equal 2161, right? 471.61 minus 450, 2161. All right, so the time value is going to equal the premium minus the intrinsic value. So that's going to equal the premium 101.60 minus 2161. So the time value will be $79.99. Now this one has a positive intrinsic value, so that means it is in, anytime you have a positive intrinsic value, you are in the money. That means it's a valuable option. You would definitely execute this option. If you had to make a choice between executing it and letting it expire, you would definitely execute this option. All right, now let's try one that's further up. Let's try 500. Let's do a strike of $500. So we did a strike of 450, which was lower than the current stock price. Now we'll do a strike of 500 that is higher. The premium on that for a 500 strike is 81.20. The intrinsic here is going to be really easy. This is out of the money. So we're going to do the max of 471.61 minus 500 and 0, and that is going to equal 0. This is out of the money. If it's out of the money, then its intrinsic value by definition is 0. So the time value is just going to be the option premium, 81.20 minus 0. So here the time value is 81.20. So time value is very easy for options that are out of the money. The time value always equals the premium. 100% of the premium is time value when you're out of the money. All right. So there's calls. Let's try it once more, and let's do it with puts. So let's do, for puts, let's do a strike of 500 just like we did above. So we'll do that same thing. Well, no, let's start with the lower. Let's start with 450 just like we did before. And so here, the premium, now this one's actually out of the money now because it's an option, it's a put option, is $79.10. So the premium is $79.10. We already know what the time value is going to be, but we'll still calculate it. So the intrinsic value for a put is going to be the max, and this time it's strike minus the stock price and 0. So here it's going to be the max of the strike is 450 minus the current stock price 471.61 and 0. So that equals 0 because it is out of the money. And for puts, if the price is below the current price, it's out of the money. With calls, if the strike price is above the current stock price, then you're in the money. So here, the time value is going to equal the premium minus the intrinsic value, which equals $79.10 minus 0, or $79.10. Very straightforward. And then we'll do a put where the strike, like we did before, was $500. The premium here is going to be much higher because we're in the money now. It's for 500 to be 108.90. The intrinsic value is going to equal the strike, the max of the strike. The strike is 500 minus the stock price, 471.61, 0. And that equals the intrinsic value 28.39. And so the time value is going to equal the premium 108.90 minus the intrinsic value 28.39. And you notice that on all of these, the time value is very similar. 80.51, 79.10 on the calls, 79.10, 80.51. So they're very similar. Slightly different, and there's a few reasons for that. It has to do with probabilities of hitting the strike. So there's time value, very simple formula. You just keep using, you'll notice you keep using this intrinsic value. Remember when we're doing the gains and losses on the options, we do intrinsic value, and then we subtract what we initially paid for the option, and that gives us the gain or loss. But the intrinsic value, so the gain or loss on option is, the at expiration is the intrinsic value minus what we paid for the option. All right, so there's some time value practice. All right, so let's do a call. We're going to do a Zoom long call. The current price for Zoom is 471.61. The strike is 500. Let's get our prices in here. Let me spread this out just a little bit so we can see a little bit. Let's do a strike at 500. So the call costs 81.20. So that's the premium. And the maturity is, I already said, May 21, 2021. So what we'll do is Zoom at expiration. Let's say it's $300. We'll just go up by 10, 310, go all the way up to, I don't know, let's go up to 700 or so. Who knows with a stock like this, as much as it's been up recently, who knows what it would be. So there's Zoom at expiration. Let's do Zoom gain or loss just on the stock. Remember how easy this is. If you bought Zoom at 471.61 and it's now trading for 300, you just take the 300 minus that original price. So there's your gain or loss on the stock. Copy that down. Obviously, that's just a straight line up and down. Then we'll do the call gain or loss. Remember, the call gain or loss is going to equal the at expiration the intrinsic value minus the option premium. And remember, the intrinsic value is going to equal, and you've seen this formula so many times, the max of S minus X, because it's a call option, and 0. So we'll enter that in there, and we'll do equal max the stock minus the strike. In this case, that's 0, right? Because it went down. It went down from 471 down to 300. So a call option makes you no money, but then you have to pay the really high option premium here, $81. We'll copy that down, and you'll see at the option premium was $81.20. So you take the strike plus the $81.20, and that gives you exactly the break even on the option. If we graph that, I'm not going to do fancied up graphs like I did last time, but just to show you the pattern again. Remember, a call option looks like a hockey stick, and the stock is just a straight, just a diagonal. So there's our call. Let's do the same thing with puts. So I'm going to bring some of this stuff over just to save us some time. So we're going to buy a put. We'll do a strike. Let's do 450. So let's find put strike at 450. 450. The premium is $79.10. It matures in May. Now a put gain is the same as the call gain. It's the intrinsic value minus the premium. The intrinsic value, though, for a put is not S minus X, but it's X minus S. So here's the gain for Zoom. I thought I had that on the other page too. So here's the gain or loss on Zoom. For the call and Zoom, it's going to be the same. So that doesn't change. So here we'll do the put, and for the put we'll do equal max. And remember, here we start with the strike. Got to lock that in, minus the stock. So that's a lot. That's $150 minus what we had to pay on the premium. So if the stock price falls, we make a lot of money. But as it starts to rise, we start losing money. So, but it's really amazing how expensive Zoom's options are. Yeah, there's something. I didn't lock something in, so let's go look and see what it is that I didn't lock in. So that minus 79. Yeah, the most we can lose is 79. So got the strike. Ah, I forgot to put the comma 0. That should fix it. I knew it was something was wrong. And so again, we get the hockey stick, but here it's going the opposite direction. Remember, with the put, the hockey stick goes backwards because it's a bullish strategy. It makes money when the stock falls. So there's our put. I'm going to copy that entire thing over. And now we're going to do a Zoom protective put. And so there's the gain on Zoom stock. There's the gain on the put. Remember, a protected put. Very, very simple. You own, all you got to do is put two things together. It's just the stock plus the put. So really, really simple. You just add them across. And the most we can lose is 171. Where do we get that? Well, you can't go below 450. So it falls from 471 to 450. So right there you lose 471.61 minus 450. You use $21, and then you also lose the 79.10. You put those together, the most you can lose is 171. You lose falling from 471 down to your strike, and you lose the premium. So the most you can lose is that. When we graph that, we get something that looks a lot like that call, that long call. Remember, because of put-call parity, a protected put where you own the stock and own the put is very, very similar to just owning the call. They're very, very similar strategies. All right, so there's a protected put. When we did the previous example, we did the long call, the long put, the protected put, then we did the covered call. So I'll do the covered call next. So I'm going to take Zoom's long call, copy that over. And so with the covered call, everything looks exactly the same, but here the price is different. So it's not going to be 81.20 for 500. So it's not going to be 81.20. Remember, when you do a covered call, you own the stock and you sell the call. So in this case, you've got to use the bid price, not the ask. So the 79.70, that's the only difference. And so when you do the covered call, gain or loss, remember with a covered call, you own the stock and you sell the call. So in this case, you own the stock and you sell the call. So all I have to do is just do minus that. So it's the stock minus the call value. Copy that down, kind of the upside down hockey stick for the covered call. So if you lose money, you lose money. This looks a little more interesting when you have the stock there on the side. So when the stock falls, you don't lose as much money, but at some point you stop making money. So there's the covered call there. We did a covered call for Apple. Remember that? So you can see it against the stock. Let me do the strangle next. I'm going to bring over the long call. And get rid of all these charts. And let me bring the put over. But for the put, I'll just bring just the numbers over. All right, so for the call, we just did the call. Remember, the call gives us that hockey stick looking thing. When we do the put, we get the backwards hockey stick. So what happens when we add these two things together? So everything lines up. So the strangle, so you own the call, you own the put, all you have to do is just add those two things together. And you'll get something that's not quite a V, but it's kind of got a V shape to it. This one is exactly a V because I just happened to hit numbers where I don't have enough. If I had a few more spots in here, it would actually work. But it looks exactly like a V. But you should actually get a little bit of a shallow at the bottom if you're in a strangle. But anyway, that's our. Now, one of the reasons this looks a little interesting is that my strikes are different. I'm not using the same strike, so they're both out of the money. And that's what makes it a strangle. A straddle is when they're both at the money, and the straddle gives you exactly the V. All right, we did a strangle for Apple, and see with Apple we did get the basin on Apple. So the last thing we want to do, so I did those quickly because we've already done them. So the last one I want to do is the one we did not cover last time, and that's the Zoom a collar. All right, so if you look at what we've done so far, we did a long call, long put, protected put, covered call, straddle. We did it again, call, put, protected put, covered call, strangle or straddle. We're actually doing strangles. So now what we're going to do is a collar. So a collar is you own the stock and you buy the put out of the money and you sell a call also out of the money. So what I can do is come over here to the strangle and I can bring all of this in for the strangle, and we should be able to use it. So we also want the stock. All right, so for the call, remember what we did. So we got the stock gain. All right, so here I gotta adjust this down. So the stock gain is the 300 minus the 471.61. So there's my stock gain. I don't need this one. And let's make sure we got good numbers here. Ah, there's my problem. That's why we didn't get the V. So let me fix the strangle. It's referring to the wrong strike and to the wrong premium. When I do that, I should get a more strangle looking thing. Let's see if it did it. Ah, there it is. See, I knew there was something going wrong there. All right, so yeah, that's the problem with copying it over. It didn't copy it over correctly. So the call is the stock price minus the strike and 0 minus the premium. The put is the strike minus the stock price minus the premium. And then the strangle, you just add the call and the put together. So let's do the same thing here. So we got the stock price correctly. Let's see if we got this. So here, we got to bring those down. Should look exactly the same as before. So obviously the stock falls. We just lose the premium, the 81.20. And then here, oops. Should be the exact same thing we got on the put. So you look at the put, 70.90, 70.90, 60.90, 70.90, 60.90. So there we have all of our pieces. And so all we got to do is do the collar, gain or loss. So look at this. So for a collar, we own the stock, so plus the stock. We own the put, and we sell the call, so minus the call. All right. So if we sell the call, what do we have to do? We have to go back here and change the premium. Remember on the covered call, we changed the premium to 79.70. So anytime you sell a call, you use the lower bid. So make sure you use the bid if you're selling the call. All right, so we take the stock price plus the put minus the call, and we copy that down. And we'll get a really unusual looking shape here. This is one that looks more like the Z I was kind of telling you about. So there's the collar. The stock price falls, there's a max that you can lose. If the stock price goes up, there's a max that you can make. So the most you can lose is $20, or not quite, like $21. And the most you can make is $29. This is not a bad strategy if you own a stock and you really don't think it's going anywhere. You don't think it's likely to rise much, but there is a scenario where it falls a bunch, so you don't mind giving up the upside. We did collar strategies at UTSA. They don't look too exciting, but if you do this on a monthly basis, most of the time you make all your money. It doesn't harm you at all. You do well, and occasionally you have a month like we had in March, April, May, where the market really moves. On the downside, it really protects you. On the upside, it harms you. At UTSA, we did collars, and then when the market really sold off, and so we had all the protection on the downside, we took the collar off, so when the market rocketed back up, we didn't get hit with this ceiling on the top. So that's what a collar strategy looks like. And it's it's an interesting strategy. There are some mutual funds out there that do these strategies. One in particular is called Gateway. It's a Gateway mutual fund, and it does this strategy. It doesn't look too great here recently, mainly because the market is up a bunch. These strategies don't do well when the market shoots up a bunch all at once. They probably did really, really well in March and April, and then really badly in May, June, July, and August, September, October, November, when the stock market just keeps soaring up. But that's your collar strategy, very popular strategy. And so why do you need to know? So let's put it all down. It's in the notes, but let's just pull it down. You need to know what a long call for the exam, a long put, protected put, a covered call, a collar, and probably a strangle or a straddle. It's unlikely you're going to get a straddle. The long call, you just pretty easy. Your gain or loss is going to equal intrinsic value minus the original ask premium on the call. For the put, your gain or loss is going to equal intrinsic value minus the original ask premium on the put. Why are we using the ask, the higher price? Because we're buying these. Protected put, you own the stock and a put option. So remember, on the stock, you take whatever the stock price is at expiration minus what its original price was. That gives you this gain or loss on the stock. And then for the put, you just use this formula right here. The covered call, you're going to own the stock and sell an out of the money call, and use here, you use the lower bid price because you're selling. So use the bid. All the formulas are the same. So you're going to take the stock, what did you make on the stock? So whatever the stock price is at expiration minus the original price. And then you will subtract from that, because you're selling, you subtract from that the gain or loss on the call, but use the bid price instead of the ask price. On the collar, the most complicated one, you own the stock, you own a put, and you sell a call. So stock value, just like we did for the protected put and covered call, is whatever the price is at expiration minus the original price. The put, you do the same value here using the ask price. The call, you do the same formula here, but you use the bid price because you're selling it. And then on a straddle, you own a put and you own a call. And so you're using the ask price on both. You just add those two together by using this formula up here. So this is what you need to know for the exam. If you practice it enough, you can actually get pretty second nature at this. It's pretty straightforward. You have a few videos that help you practice on it, but it's not that difficult. So practice, practice, practice. These are the strategies at a minimum you should know. Protected put, covered call, collar, and strangle or straddle are the four most common and most important ones to know. So there's our practice for today. You'll get a little bit more practice on this when you practice the practice exam, which has the full question in there, and you can really make sure you're understanding it. Some students just give up on this question. I don't know why, because you look at it, the formulas are pretty basic and pretty simple. There's not a lot of math here. It's just a matter of letting it sink in, but it's brand new to you, so you need to do it over and over again. The students that really bomb on this question are the ones who think, oh, it's open book, so I don't need to study for it, and it's just too confusing and the time constraint to figure it out, and they just send back a blank exam. There's several students in this class, probably a third of the class sends back a blank answer on this, but there's a good third of the class that gets this question almost 100% right, or at least 80–85% right. You also have to know the time value and intrinsic value, obviously. So you need to know time value. Time value is the option premium minus the intrinsic value. So that's all you need to know for this last question, and gives you a really good foundation for getting into options. UTSA is offering the derivatives class in the spring, and so I sent an email on that. I'd strongly recommend you sign up for that. It's very exciting stuff, and you get into the option pricing models, far more complex than we're doing here. All right, that's it for today. Short class because I'm going to do a video to help you with the second exam.